Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program Applicant Workshop for District 1. As I was saying earlier, this is a Zoom webinar. Feel free to use the chat box, raise your hand, or even turn on your cameras if you want to jump in and ask a question. And we are going to get started with introductions today, and then I'll pull up the PowerPoint. So my name is Allison Ball. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a Planning Initiative Specialist with Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, and I'm the District 1 Liaison. Nick?
I am Nick Rose. I'm the District 1 Program Representative with the Ohio Public Works Commission.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to share, whoops. Okay, you are sharing screen. So you guys should be seeing the PowerPoint. Nick, do you see that? Can you give me a thumbs up? All right, great. Excellent. So like I said, welcome to the fiscal year 2025 applicant workshop. This is the 19th round of funding for Clean Ohio. Today's workshop, it's kind of divided into two parts. First is the overview of the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program with the program overview, what's new in fiscal year 2025, the types of projects, and the District 1 results to date. And then we'll get into the details of the District 1 Green Space Conservation Program and Natural Resources Assistance Council for this funding round. So this program is for open spaces, sensitive ecological areas, and stream corridors. And the Ohio Public Works Program offers grants to protect conservation properties in perpetuity. So that's a unique aspect of this grant. Clean Ohio is focused on conservation. The Green Space Program, don't forget, there is a Trails Program, which is a different program, and that is run through the Ohio Division of Natural Resources. The Green Space Conservation Programs is focused on conservation, and items that do not lend themselves to conservation are generally not allowed, and improvements are meant to provide access with minimal impact to the conservation value. So you'll see this is more about the natural areas. The OPWC will fund some paths through that conservation area, but if it's just a 10-foot wide corridor for a path, then there are other grants for that. If it's active recreation, such as playgrounds, ball fields, soccer pitches, there is other grants for that, such as NatureWorks. So again, preserving open space, riparian corridors, protecting rare, threatened, or endangered species, supporting open space planning, preserving wetlands, as well as streamside forests and natural and stream programs. So Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program is administered by the Ohio Public Works Commission. We are District 1. And the state was divided up into 19 local districts. OPWC oversees the program in conjunction with local control. So the 19 districts each have their own natural resources assistance councils, thus their own methodologies for evaluating projects. And Cuyahoga County is District 1. This program has been very important for Cuyahoga County. As you can see from this land use map, which is from 2018, I believe that a new land use map is in the works, but it's pretty much comparable. There's 15% green space. The green space was identified through the Fiscal Office land use codes, and those green spaces also include cemeteries, golf course, and agricultural land. So it's not all parks and green space. It is not to be confused with vacant land, which is the 9%. Another thing for why this program is so important to Cuyahoga County, when you do see the green in this map, these green spaces are often fragmented. They may be degraded due to pollutants or just being left alone to invasive species. So again, we really appreciate the opportunity that this program gives to Cuyahoga County to increase our green space and natural areas. The Ohio Public Works Commission was established back in the 1980s to oversee the infrastructure program initially, and that's when the state was divided up into the 19 districts, and then the Clean Ohio Conservation Program was added to that. Ohio Public Works Commission, they are your bank. They approve all the methodologies, and they also give the final approval of recommended projects and budgets. The District 1 Public Works Integrating Committee is the committee that oversees the infrastructure program. However, they also have oversight to the Natural Resources Assistance Councils. They appoint the Natural Resources Assistance Council members, the NRAC members, and they also have a representative that is an NRAC member. The NRAC implements the Clean Ohio Conservation Program in the district, develops a project selection and evaluation methodology, and selects projects for funding and makes the recommendations to Ohio Public Works Commission. So you can see how that works. The NRAC members, there's 11 NRAC members. This is all identified in the Ohio Revised Code, and each NRAC has 11 members, and it's divided up with different representation from agricultural, environment, government, a soil and water conservation district representative, and as I said before, a public works integrating committee representative, government and park systems, and business and realtors and planning. These terms are 3 years and are revolving. So there's a lot new in fiscal year 2025. OPWC identified rules that specifically impact how NRAC conducts business and have been added to the Ohio Revised Code and or the Ohio Administrative Code. Many of these new rules are longstanding policies that have been codified. District 1 has been in compliance with a lot of these rules. You'll see as we go through the program where we had to do some updates, but I highly encourage you to review the laws, rules, and advisory section in the OPWC website. They have the updated Ohio Revised Code as well as the updated administrative code. So some of the details that you used to see in the advisories are now codified by law. Is there anything that you would want to add to that, Nick? No, very good. So OPWC still does publish an advisories document, and you'll see that this is a lot less than they used to be. However, these are the things that may change from year to year, and it's always best to look at the OPWC website for these advisories instead of going to the district. What I will say that is different from previous program years is, or their old website, each one was a clickable advisory. Now it's a downloadable document. So you have them all at your fingertips. These are all active links. I will post the PowerPoint as well as the video later to our website, and you can find these easily. So how do these changes affect District 1? Well, the biggest change is the NRACs now provide applicants a period of no less than, my video is no less than 90 days after the director's approval of their methodologies to accept project applications. So applicants now have 3 months to assemble their application packets. Another thing that's different, and that's not because of any rules, is that District 1 NRAC is now accepting restricted appraisal reports instead of the full appraisal reports. If selected for funding, the restricted appraisal report must be converted to a full appraisal report. If you are used to the old way of District 1 and you already have an appraisal report, just be aware of the effective date, as it must be within 12 months of the date of the submittal for the request to proceed. Otherwise, you will have to get another one, and OPWC will only reimburse for one full appraisal. So keep moving on. Our community impact section, that is the same as last year. However, how you find the data is different. We are going to be using the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission Greenprint Explorer. This tool now includes the community impact criterion, and we'll go over that. And then the structures, which is a new rule or a longstanding advisory that has been made into law. We have updated our policy specifically to say that we do allow, District 1 does allow demolition of existing structures. However, existing structures are permitted to remain on the property if they serve as nature and or outdoor education centers, venue space for programming and interpretive uses related to conservation, and or support functions to conservation activities occurring on the property, such as storage and administrative offices. The existing structures cannot be used as residences or for any other use outside of the conservation related activities described there. And just a reminder, OPWC requires the use of the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program logo on permanent signage erected for projects selected for funding. And forthcoming projects agreements will also strongly encourage recipients to acknowledge program funding and OPWC's financial support in their various materials, outlets, and events. So what is Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program funding? Well, it funds the acquisition of open space, acquisition of land or rights, such as conservation easement and construction of conservation easements, and acquisition of acquisition or enhancement of land to connect the natural areas. Open space improvement projects. This is an example from the expansion of Euclid Creek. You can see wetlands, trails, areas, riparian corridors are specific to the riparian areas in their floodplains. In some cases, the riparian corridor projects do not need to be purchased. You can get an easement, or if they're already owned, improvements will be funded through OPWC. So again, here's the idea: is that it be simple acquisition of lands to provide access to riparian corridors or watersheds, acquisition of the easements for the purpose of protecting and enhancing the corridors, or reforestation of land or the planting of vegetation for filtration purposes. So open space improvement projects, these are for projects that have already been funded. Think of these open space improvements as a phase 2, and you can do restoration projects or some amenities with low impact, a meandering trail, a bench. What I will say is please note whether your original purchase was an easement or fee simple, because that will determine what activities, what eligible activities you can do. So, and here it's just reinforcing what I said: create construction or enhancement of facilities required. So the District 1 Conservation Program, from its inception in 2000 to last year, or last year's funding round, 144 projects have been submitted, 101 projects have been funded, almost $58.5 million have been awarded, protecting approximately 2,800 acres of natural areas and green space and over 77,000 lineal feet of riparian corridors. It is really impressive. It's hard to see in the larger context of the county. But again, in the larger scheme of things, it's growing those green areas in our land use map. Are there any questions so far? Okay, so what does that mean for this year, District 1 Green Space Program? I'm going to turn this over to Nick.
All right, so WorksWise is the online platform where all business with OPWC is conducted, pretty much all of it. This is where you will apply for funds, request disbursement of funds. You can view project and disbursement statuses and view all the application files. We have training materials linked here and on our website. Make sure you give yourself ample time ahead to apply in case you encounter any issues and need OPWC technical assistance. I recommend making sure that the person in your organization authorized to use WorksWise has a login well in advance to avoid any of those hiccups. All agreements are sent via our automated email to the CEO of the project for e-signing. So ensure that you are able to receive those emails from WorksWise. We also have a public portal that you don't need to require a login for, where all published information can be viewed. So that's after the application is approved and released, all that information goes there as well. All Clean Ohio properties require an appraisal to substantiate their value, and appraisals must be conducted using an ODOT pre-qualified appraiser. And if a project includes conservation easement, in addition to this list, Appraisal Institute designated members who have successfully passed evaluation, conservation easement, professional development program are now approved for that use. We now require that an appraisal's date of determination value must be within 12 months of the date of submittal to OPWC for the request to proceed. So the appraisal submitted with the request to proceed must be dated within 12 months of the submission date. If the original document was an appraisal report and it surpasses that 12-month period, a new one will be required, and OPWC will not reimburse on that. We will reimburse on one of them, so you can choose. So also our appraisal standards allow for a bargain sale value to be used as local match, in which case we will need an appraisal review. And timber value can be used as local match as well, but we will not need an appraisal review for that case. And OPWC understands that it can be difficult to get certain projects in high demand areas where customers are competing with other interests. So we allow a maximum of 5% above the purchase price to be included in the project, as long as the NRAC validates and approves that. However, the applicant is able to purchase the property at a higher price, but that has to be outside of the project and paid for by the applicant. We regularly update and post our appraisal standards on our website under the Clean Ohio application webpage, so be sure to stay up to date on that. We also have links to the ODOT pre-qualified appraisers and their pre-qualification requirements.
So, and also the appraisals need to be, the appraisers need to sign off that they have read the most recent standards, and that needs to be included, whether it's a restricted appraisal report or the full appraisal report. More requirements, Nick?
Yep. OPWC requires these project implementation standards so that projects are progressing and the funds are being spent in a timely manner. We require that acquisition be completed within 1 year of the release of the project agreement, and that post-acquisition activities be completed within 2 years of the agreement release date. These are in the agreement. So when you sign, this is what you're signing up for. However, we understand that there can be complications, delays, and some projects by their nature can take a while. So we can grant extensions and adjust the project schedule as needed. The extension request must be submitted in writing via email with new dates and a reason for the extension, and then we'll grant it, and I will update the project on WorksWise. However, if a project exceeds this schedule beyond what is reasonable with no contact, the project may be at risk of being closed out and then the funds retracted and returned to the district.
Great, thank you, Nick. So this is a District 1 NRAC policy, and it is in accordance with Ohio's ethic laws. District 1 NRAC members will recuse themselves from discussion, participation in the project site visits, interviews, and scoring specific project applications submitted by or on behalf of their organization, or any applications prepared and submitted by their organization for Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Funds. It is recommended to have someone else from the organization be present and address any questions by the NRAC members. So again, this is public money, full transparency, and we run this program in accordance with the ethics laws. So the good part, the money. This year is unique in that we have well over $5 million. There was a truncated round last year, so we did not spend all those funds, and luckily all those carryover balances stay within the district. And even since this was published, I noticed that maybe another project has closed out. There is now $5,478,067 available for this funding round. So that's a lot of green space, at least I hope so. The maximum award is 75% of the total project cost. There is a required minimum match of 25%. What I will tell you is that there is no limit to the amount that you can ask for. You should be able to justify it in your applications. However, the higher the match, the more points you will receive when it comes to the evaluation. What counts as eligible match? Contributions of money from individuals, local, state, or federal government, contributions in kind through the purchase or donation of equipment, land easements, labor, and materials, appraised value of property, like Nick mentioned before, so a bargain sale, the other portion of the cost can be used or dedicated to your match, and provide certification. You must provide certification that all local revenues for the project will be available on or before the earliest date listed in the project schedule. If you're counting on grant funds that have not been awarded yet, make sure that you can either cover those funds through your general funds or another way, or show us that you already were awarded those funds. So who's eligible to apply? Counties, cities, villages, townships, all the municipalities, special districts, soil and water conservation districts, a park district and authority, nonprofit corporations that are exempt from federal income tax and has conservation activities as a primary part of its mission. The most important thing to remember is eligible applicants must have an approved subdivision code in order to apply. Again, I gave the link to the new law or rule in the Ohio Administrative Code. I did have a conversation recently with somebody, and I did look up, they do not have a subdivision code. So Nick, in order to get a subdivision code, they need to...
Yeah, so pretty much all the local governments have subdivision codes, but if you're a nonprofit, you'll just need to reach out. You can send this stuff to me. It will be a formal request to the director on a letterhead, and then proof of your 501 status, as well as supporting documentation that supports your mission of being an environmental and conservation organization. That's pretty much what we're looking for. The only nonprofits eligible to apply are organizations centered around environmental conservation. And then you'll send that to me, and then our director will approve and then send you a letter with your subdivision code.
Great, thanks, Nick. And even though CDCs and other organization in District 1 already have subdivision codes, maybe I should change that to had subdivision codes, they are no longer eligible to apply for Clean Ohio funds. So if you are concerned about your status or subdivision code, reach out to both Nick and myself. If you are representing a CDC or working with a CDC, we're still, you're still allowed to partner with them. However, they're not allowed to go into the project agreement or own the land. So keep that in mind. Eligible activities, the acquisition expenses, of course, planning and implementation, site enhancement or restoration, all eligible. Ineligible, acquisition of land for the active recreation, like we mentioned in the beginning of the program. Water degradation projects. So if there is old hardscape infrastructure that you want to remove, that may be allowed. However, if you're just going to leave, just take out the hardscape and leave it there without making improvements for that water to be absorbed or moving through the landscape, then it may not be. So again, you don't want to degrade this stuff. This is a change from the previous years when they said no hydro modification. There is hydro modification, but no degradation. Aesthetic landscaping, decorative items, except as identified for entrance and enhancements. And again, that is, if you have a question about it, feel free to reach out to Nick and myself. Access improvements on easements. So hardscape, benches, trails on easements are not allowed. This is an important distinction. Again, if you're going back for a phase 2, and you're not sure if you purchased in fee simple or have an easement, definitely contact us and we can help you navigate through your old applications or applications that were submitted prior to when you were working at your organizations. And administrative and monitoring costs. Now this list is just examples. Please see the whole list on the Ohio Public Works Commission website. The list of items on OPWC website has been revised to reflect the current practice. NRECs with any needed guidance from OPWC in consideration of environmental impacts will make decisions on a case-by-case basis on the allowance of the following items: disc golf, equestrian use, mountain biking, and dam removal. Like I said, they're all case-by-case. Solar fields are not permitted except for solar panels on the existing structures that of course will be used for conservation purposes. So again, this is all material that is you have access to if you need a reminder on the website. No new oil and gas leases are permitted once the NREC has approved the application. Any modification or breach of the recorded deed restrictions or conservation easements that occur once project agreement has been signed and without the advance written approval of the OPWC director are subject to the imposition of liquidated damages. Wetland restoration is permitted and no improvements to easements are permitted except for one-time invasive species removal. So again, that easements is a lot more restrictive than if you owned or purchased in fee simple. So the District 1 NRAC application can be found on our website. This may not look familiar. We just kicked off last week our new branding. And after this program, after the PowerPoint program that is, I will show you how to navigate our website and give you a demonstration of the of where to find things on our new, it's our new looking website. It's the same organization. Hopefully that will be updated in the future as well. Moving forward, the District 1 NRAC application relates directly to OPWC policies and the NRAC evaluation methodology. The application supplement is used along with the OPWC main application to review projects The applicant is responsible for making sure all documents are complete, accurate, and submitted by Friday, June 14th, 2024 by 4:30 p.m. Please note that WorksWise will not accept anything after this. So again, like Nick said in the very beginning, give yourself time in WorksWise. Don't plan to submit at 4 o'clock in case something comes up, because it will not be available for evaluation. All applications will be screened for eligibility prior to distributing to the NRAC members for evaluation. Incomplete or late applications will not be evaluated by the NRAC. So this year, just submit one copy. Just submit it all in OPWC's WorksWise program. However, please submit utilizing the District 1 NRAC standard application format and naming convention. So application supplements must be provided on the form provided on our website. The materials must be typed using an 11-point font and submitted according to the District 1 NRAC protocol. And I'm going to go over that because there are some required documents, such as your your certification of funds. And so you might want to submit that as a separate document to show that you're including the required document. However, you may be submitting it twice, once in a packet for the NRAC review. So keep that in mind. The online program and portal makes things a little bit easier, but sometimes there is a little bit of repetition between how OPWC evaluates and the NRAC does. So you'll make a PDF of the online application. The District 1 NRAC application supplement right now is still a fillable PDF, but we're looking to move that online as well. And the following attachments, again, they don't need to be separated by a cover page because they'll be in a different, they will be separated by a cover page, but all the authorizations and resolutions of support should be that and have either your org name and your project name and attachment authorizations, agreements and letters of support, maps and photos, the natural resource information. And so the natural resource information is really any supporting documentation to back up things. It could be plans, inventories, tree lists, species lists, anything that helps support your case that doesn't fall in these other areas. The property information, and it says here by permanent parcel number, if your sale, your fee simple sale includes 2 or 3 permanent parcels, do it by the sale. Okay, you can include all 3, but your property info PDF should have your letters of intent or memorandum of understanding, any purchase agreements, conservation easements, deeds and proposed deed restrictions, and I'm going to get into the details of this a little bit later. Again, your restricted appraisal report or your full appraisal with the appraisal standards review, and as well as a screenshot of the county fiscal office valuation. And again, the property information attachment needs to meet those appraisal standards and signed off. And again, here's where you can find those appraisal standards on the OPWC website. Here is also the declaration of restriction. I have this little line highlighted here. It's the use and development restrictions. So it is very important for both the district NRACs and for OPWC to have a full understanding of what the intended use of the property is in order to make decisions in their evaluation and scoring and ranking and approvals. In the past, we have gotten these empty without this section filled out, so please fill that out. We will also ask you, if it's a short description, to include it in the supplement. If not, definitely make sure it is in there and easily found, or what page to find it on in your attachment. Finally, resolutions of support. These are determined whether what you need and how many you need by Ohio Revised Code Section 164.23. For those of you that are attending from the metro parks, you will only need a letter of support from the or municipality, or just show either through letter of support or possibly a resolution that the municipality that you're working in approves of your work. If you are a municipality and your project is wholly within the municipality, you can submit a resolution of support from said municipality. However, if you are crossing boundaries, last year we had a project that was called the Watershed Divide project. It was 2 communities and 2 municipalities. So even if it wasn't submitted by a nonprofit, they would need to come before county council and get a resolution of support in support of the application. Nonprofits are required to submit a county council resolution of support. And this is a long process, uploading it into our system and going through 3 table readings. So this year you have a month, and you may not have all the details of your application. So you can contact me and we can work on what to submit together, but it should include an estimated project cost and request. And if you're still working out your budgets are on the high side of what you're thinking. And again, the acreage, hopefully, you know, that you may be working it out again or on the high side. And it's easier to pull you out of the process if you decide that you're not going to move through than to add you as a last minute under suspension of rules. So, and this request for resolution, a resolution of support form is on our website, and I'll show you how to find that in a little bit. The evaluation process is divided into 3 major components: the project eligibility, which I already spoke about, and then the preliminary project scoring, phase 2. This includes site visits, applicant interviews, and public meetings. And then the phase 3 is the final project scoring and recommendations going to OPWC. Before I turn it over to Nick, are there any questions? Let's see. I don't see anything. Do you see anything? Oh, I don't know who else is hosting this today. So, but Nick, I'm going to let you take over and show the OPWC, and let me know if you want me to stop sharing so you can share the website, although I have a couple of slides here for you to use as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll share here in a little bit to do a little walkthrough.
Okay.
So as I talked about WorksWise before, when you first log in, you'll contact me to get your login. You'll receive an email, set your password, and then the top image is what you'll see when you log in. And then you'll click a button to apply, and then it will be that bottom image, and that's where you put in your basic information. And then yeah, and here's just the basic outline of the application and what you need. You want to have all your financial resources. We can do 75% out of the whole project, and then yeah, and then let's see here. All right, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Go through. Oop. Oh, it says host disabled screen sharing.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. There you go. Make host. You're a host now. You should be able to share. I meant to do that earlier.
All right, can you guys see it? Okay. All right, so this is our homepage. To get to WorksWise, you will click here, and I am logged in as Allison right now for the demonstration. And then to start the application, you'll go right up here, start new Clean Ohio application. It takes you to this page. Put in your name. Today I'm Allison. Then we'll just say green space, zip code. We'll Cleveland. You have, and when you enter in the subdivision, you want to click enter, and it'll bring up this this page here, and it'll click. If you don't do that, it won't input the actual subdivision. And then we'll go down to Cuyahoga. Project type, green space acquisition. And then I created one right here. Yeah, you'll hit this confirm button here, and that will take you right to this page. Basically, it creates a permanent application and project page where you can come back, edit, upload files, and then eventually submit. And so we'll go through the project information. So your project name, you're going to want that to be concise. Avoid the word project. Simple, just state what the project is. And then project information, project financials. And then here's where the bread and butter of the application is going to be. Fee simple amount or easement amount, how much that's going to cost. We also have space for appraisals, survey, title work, design, all the planning and implementation stuff. Those are all eligible costs, and the estimates on those can be included. And then as you see here, we have the 75-25 split. And then for our project descriptions, this is the important part because these get specifically imported into the app or the agreement. So these need to be concise. I pulled these from Cleveland Metro Parks. You'll see they have the acreage, they have the parcel numbers, they have the city, county, and then they give us short description of where it's located. And if there is a street address, we'd like to see that too, but that's not always available. And then the project description, again, short, concise. This is something that's going to be in a legal document. So it just needs to describe what the project is and what the plan is for the project, essentially the project scope. And then our project officials. So again, I pulled these from Cleveland Metro Parks, the chief executive officer, chief financial officer, and the project manager. The chief executive officer and the chief financial officer cannot be the same person. I believe that's a legal requirement. And then you can save. And you'll want to make sure that the CEO's email is up to date and that they can receive emails from WorksWise, because sometimes those go into spam folders. Sometimes they get caught by IT filters, because that's how we'll execute the agreement. And if all else fails, you can reach out and we can get a PDF version of the agreement. And then I'll just upload it. And let's see. And then the last thing would be the project schedule. Like I said before, acquisition needs to happen within 1 year, and then site improvements or any post activity needs to happen within 2. I just did a short example schedule here, and that is pretty much it. And then for uploading documents, where's that? Right here, down at the bottom. This is where you'll upload all of your files. So we have all of our required files here: appraisals, authorizing legislation, CFO certification, estimates, deed restrictions, supplements, and photographs. Photographs are always important. We need to see that stuff. Purchase contract, resolution of support. And
if I may interrupt here again, you might want to put your CFO certification, because it is required, separately, but again, put it into that attachment for the evaluation. as well. Thank you, Nick. Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, so we'll go through uploading a document here. And when you upload, you want to make sure to select the proper submission type here, because that's required and that's how the system knows that that document was uploaded. The good thing about WorksWise is that it will tell you if you mess up. It'll tell you if your financials are off. It'll tell you if you're missing a document. And so it'll prevent submittal at that point. So you want to make sure you select the correct submission type, click save, and it will be uploaded. And then you'll want to obviously do that for all of your documents. And then once you're done, you'll click submit. And in the past, there's been a e-sign document or something that has gone out to the CEO to sign the application. That doesn't happen anymore. It just goes automatically into submitted status. So you're good to go. And then see if I missed anything here. I think that's it for the WorksWise demo, unless Allison, you have anything to add?
Just that I receive an email from WorksWise when it is submitted, and that I will also confirm with the applicants that it has been received. So if you don't receive that email from me, definitely contact our office and make sure that it has been submitted. And then the other thing is, instead of making you a co-host, I made you the host, so I won't be able to share the rest of the PowerPoint. You either make me a co-host or a host.
Let me make you a host again. How do I?
In the corner of my name, if you go on the three dots, it should say make host, make co-host. So in my picture, next to mute, there's three dots, and you click down on that.
Next to mute.
So are you looking in my picture?
Yeah, I see you.
Yeah.
I just don't see any.
Like when you hover over it, and it says mute, and then three dots. Or if you can able participant screen sharing, then, which there should be an up arrow next to screen share.
All right, that should do it.
Okay. Great. And share. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
You'd think like 3 years after pandemic, we'd be used to Zoom. Okay, thanks for going through that. So the NRAC application supplement has a checklist for eligibility and 6 major sections that are evaluated. This eligibility, I didn't upload the image. There's one for program year 2025, and you just check the type of project type, and yes, no, or does not apply. This will just help you make sure, like, yes, I have this and I'm going to submit it, and this will meet the NRAC standards of what they're looking for. The project emphasis, I don't have that. That's a checklist. These are ORC requirements. Again, and it is based on the project type, whether it's open space or riparian corridor. The project description, this, you might not have felt that you had enough room in the OPWC application to fully describe your project, because that is for legal language and going into a project agreement. And we're going to give you that room. So we also want in this description, well, now we have the restricted appraisal report, so we don't need the summary of that. But we need to see that that you have included the appraisal report performed by the ODOT pre-qualified appraiser who's credentialed in appraisals, and there's the website to look up those pre-approved appraisers, and the documentation from the appraiser that they received and read the OPWC standards, and the fiscal officer's property valuation for the project site. We need the location as shown in the Cuyahoga County Greenprint map or Greenprint Explorer map, and include highlighting the location and links. So this is an example from the previous Cuyahoga County Greenprint. I'm going to show you the new Greenprint again at the end of the PowerPoint presentation. But again, this is where you really get to describe the current conditions and any site improvements that will result from the project. This is where you can talk about the proposed deed restrictions that identifies the specific use and development restrictions. You'll also need to include an itemized estimate from an architect, landscape architect, or other qualified professional that indicates the probable cost for all the improvements utilizing the Clean Ohio funds. This is something that did get added into the Ohio Revised Code. So keep that in mind. And note existing structures on the property, the appraised value of the structure, the proportion of value to the overall value, and the intended actions. So, like I said, the county Greenprint, this is just a screenshot. The Greenprint Explorer button is here, and this will take you to the interactive map and the tools to make your map. As it is new, there are trainings. I know there are several trainings in two in April and one in May. So, and like I said, I'll go over that. Those of you familiar with the program, the original District 1 NRAC identified 5 guiding principles, and these principles still guide the evaluation process today. That these projects preserve natural areas or open space, restores landscapes that have been degraded or destroyed, enhance the quality of natural areas or open space to promote passive recreation and educational opportunities, link natural areas to each other or to county cultural and civic heritage areas, and allow public access to and within the natural areas and our county cultural and civic heritage areas, meaning that we're not just buying them and holding them. The public will be able to get into them to visit and learn. So the restoration section must comprise a portion of the project scope, budget, or local match, and include the supporting documentation in the natural resources attachment. We want to know what the restoration is. Is it reducing or eliminating non-natives? Is it restoring or improving an ecosystem? Is it reforesting or restoring hillsides or impervious surfaces or eliminating impervious surfaces? This is important. There was a time when it was, are you including restoration, yes or no? And then it got points. And so now these points are being assigned based on the work being done. Project benefits, economic, social, and environmental. There is a brief explanation for the benefits to the project area, whether it's economic, social, and environmental, but provide supporting documentation in the natural resources attachment as necessary to support all the stated benefits. It's one thing to state the benefits, but again, we're always looking for that supporting documentation that will help you make your application more competitive. These are the former checklists. So this just gives you an idea of what we're looking for the economic development. Does it support priority local economic or community development initiative? Does it catalyze other improvements, increase the value of adjacent or nearby land, reduce annual municipal services or service costs, develop or redevelop vacant, underutilized parcels, or what other economic benefits you explain. The social benefits, again, does it provide the public access? Does it create a gathering place? Provide for educational opportunities or bicycle and pedestrian linkages? Does it remove a blighted image? Does it improve public health and safety? Enhance the cultural and civic heritage of the area? Does it incorporate aesthetically pleasing and ecologically informed design. Remember, though, that that we're not paying for aesthetic manicured gardens and the other social benefits that you might identify. Let us know what those are. And again, the environmental benefits, balance the built environment with the natural environment, enhance environmental health or reduce ecological risks, converts degraded parcels to a natural area and open space, creates habitat or other natural areas, improves biodiversities, protects rare, threatened, and endangered species, protects high quality or regionally significant biological communities, reduces the quantity or improve the quality of stormwater runoff, and restores floodplain functions and any other environmental benefits. So in section 5, the community impact, the Cuyahoga County needs an integrated system of key natural areas that will provide benefits to all residents, particularly those residents that reside in areas that lack green space and or the ability to enjoy the benefits of these areas. The scoring for the community impact will be awarded in the following categories: access to natural areas, percent low income, percent minority population, and access to public transit and bikeways. So we're looking for data based on 2020 census tract boundaries. And again, looking at access to natural areas, we're really looking at the proximity to the natural areas based on impervious surface from the 2019 urban tree canopy assessment update. We're looking at the percentage of low income and percent minority population based on the American Community Survey 5-year estimates. And the access to public transit and bikeways through the RTA stops, Greater Cleveland RTA updated map from fall 23, and bike routes, NOACA regional bike network, and existing routes from the green print in the fall of 2023. So you'll identify the parcel number or numbers in the census tract and then fill in the data. And you can zoom into your proposed project area with the standard pan zoom tools or enter an address to find the census tracts associated with your project. And I'm going to go over this because this looks really tiny here, but there's groups that have common layers. So you would select the boundaries group and the census tract layer, and you get this pop-up box. And you'll notice down here, this says page 2 of 2. And you'll go there and that will give you your Clean Ohio criteria to fill out in that table. If you need more than what's allotted, just add a table as an attachment. So again, this is the point structure, so you can kind of pre-score your areas and how it will score in the community impact. And then the last part is the other relevant factors, the local match, the level of coordination, readiness to proceed, immediacy, and mineral rights. So like I mentioned earlier in the program, the projects will be awarded points for match based on the total match provided. The least amount of points you will get is 3 by meeting the minimum match, but the more match you have, the more points you can get. We are asking for you to provide a breakdown of the local match, where it's coming from, and include the certification of funds, which of course WorksWise won't let you submit without that. Level of coordination. Explain if the project is part of an adopted or regional county, community, or watershed plan. Provide the plan documentation in that natural resources attachment. The agencies or organizations that have been involved in the planning and preparation of the project application, and the different levels of coordination that each agency or organization has provided. Again, when you're identifying the different agencies and organizations that you're partnering with, include letters of support. Again, that just increases the competitiveness of your application instead of just listing them out. Readiness to proceed. Readiness to proceed, there's, it's a 10-point category, but there's part A for 5 points and part B for 5 points. So the acquisition part is 5 points if it's a fully executed contract with the owner. And all of the signatures are there, that will receive 5 points. Now, if you have a contract or purchase agreement that does not have all the signatories, or a letter or memorandum of understanding, that will receive 3 points. So, and this is something that I will review and pre-score before sending out the score sheets to the NRAC members. Applications with confidentiality agreements in lieu of purchase agreements will not be evaluated. Keep in mind, this is public money and transparency is key. And projects not scheduled for acquisition within 12 months from the date of the project agreement will be rejected. So the second part, again, this gets back to those use and development restrictions. Projects will be awarded up to 5 points based on the readiness to implement the improvements to the project area. What is the end use for the project site? Copying the use and development restrictions language from proposed deed and briefly explain. Again, I have seen very small descriptions in this section that are easily pasted into the application supplement. In other times, you may have to direct us. It's been 2 pages worth of use and development restrictions. Whatever you do, please do not forget to fill this out. Provide one or more of the following documents: the project schedule, the itemized estimate or probable costs, documentation of appropriate permits or permitting process that you've submitted to start anything. So that's for that. For immediacy, this is a little different. This speaks to why this project needs to be purchased in this round. So is the project area vulnerable to being developed as something other than open space? How that development, if it would be developed, would be detrimental to the community rather than being saved as green space or natural areas, and why this project should be a priority in this funding round. I'm thinking with over $5 million that we will have a competitive round. So again, what is the immediacy? Why does this have to be included at this point in time? And finally, the mineral rights. So the applicants should indicate whether the current landowner will retain the mineral rights, of whether the mineral rights will be purchased and transferred to another entity, or if the applicant is not purchasing them but attained legal agreements with the lessee to minimize the impacts of mineral rights lease and can show how current and oil gas wells will not impact the sensitive natural resource areas or the conservation value, or whether they mineral rights will be purchased and maintained. The scoring, all of these will get a score from 1 to 10 by the NRAC members, and then weight factors will be applied to it. The weight factors show what is a priority for the District 1 NRAC. So the county principals will have a total of 50 with the weight factors 120. The benefits, the 3 benefits, 30, and a total maximum of 60. The community impact, again, all of these on a 10-point scale up to 40. The weight factor on the top 3 with access to transit and bikeways is 1, and the total here is weighted as 70 points. And the total weighted points is 295. And the projects must receive a score of at least 60% or 177 weighted points. So this is 177. That's not right. That's not the real total. But you need 177 in order to be eligible for funding. So in the past, we've had projects and that where we had enough money to fund them all, but because they did not meet the minimum requirement, could not be funded. So again, review what you're submitting and make sure that it meets the criteria that the District 1 NRAC is looking for and that OPWC is looking for, so that we can definitely award all the money that we have. So this year's schedule, here we are, the applicant workshop. Because of the new green print, if you're concerned about whether you need a resolution of support, if you need OPWC WorksWise assistance, I will be posting a Zoom link on our website, and I will be logged in for virtual office hours. If you need help, want to review a section, want to discuss different aspects of your application, I'm there to do it. So that I'm always there, but this is a dedicated time, especially with the new green print. Friday, April 19th, the County Council resolution requests are due by 4:30, and the applications are due by June 14th. So I have these dates in bold that you're going to want to mark your calendars for. Tuesday, July 16th are site visits. This is for sure with Nick and myself. It is optional for the NRAC members, but there are a handful that do set aside that time to go. And then July 31st is the NRAC meeting applicant interviews. So please make sure that somebody is available from your from your project team to present that application. What I will say about the applicant interviews days and the site visits, at this point in time, you might need to save the whole day. If you need me to work around a schedule, I can do my best to do that. But in the meantime, I would just save those whole days. And then the NRAC scores all need to be submitted by the beginning of August. And then the end of August will be a meeting to review the preliminary scores and ranking. So all dates are subject to change. However, what's even more important are these two dates at the end of the program year. So the August 28th and September 25th. There isn't a chance that the NRAC may not need to have a further meeting. They may decide to vote and approve the scores at this August 28th meeting. So if you're counting on coming to this September 25th, please note that this August 28th one is the one to come to. It's more important if there is no reason to delay or rescore a project, the NRAC will often move to approve to the record to change the preliminary scores to final and submit to OPWC. So, oh, here, like I said, I have those dedicated office hours. If anyone wants to talk, you don't have to like make an appointment or try and find me or wonder why you're not getting an email back soon enough. So there's that. But we are always here and available and required by law to assist you with the most competitive application. We want to give all this money away. So I will look to see if there's any, whoops. Nick, you'll need to, as the host, you're going to need to look and see if there's any questions or chats.
I think I gave that back to you, but I'm
Oh,
also
okay. Oh,
seeing
good. You
chats.
did. I see that. I see that now. All right. Well, this is great news. What I'm going to pull up our website, and then I will share the screen again. Share. So here's the County Planning Commission website. Again, the new logo, but same format. And I will actually find out if we can get a top billing here for this, but if not, the grant programs are buried under services. Last but not least, and again, the state infrastructure and the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program is in here. Under the current program year, we have the application materials. We have, I would say, OPWC resources rather than materials, but this is the links to WorkWise, the infrastructure program. That needs to be updated to Clean Ohio. I'll make sure that happens. And OPWC, again, that's their website. That's not WorksWise. This will bring you to WorksWise. So again, you can reach that through our website. The application supplement, this is a fillable PDF. Like I said, here's the checklist. These circular buttons are radio buttons, so you can only fill one. Here's those emphasis in line with the Ohio Revised Code. And again, a lot of this, again, might not apply to you. For instance, if you're not doing an open space improvement and you click no, you don't need to fill in the rest of this page. Is this a riparian corridor project in which the applicant already owns the property? If yes, then you'll need to provide more stuff, but if no, just keep going. And here's, again, the project description questions, and then fill this in. If you have more information than 2 pages, then it is submitted as an attachment in the natural resources section of that attachment PDF. And then the county principles, you have you can, again, this is all fillable. And here's that census tract local match, level of coordination. And again, the supporting documentation is key to all of this. So I'm going to go back to here, the county green print. So here's the green print explorer, but before we even get there, because it is 2:15 and I think these training sessions, yeah, well, it's another hour. And these are detailed. And I think that when I give you the taste of what we're looking for, you're going to want to sign up for one of these training opportunities. So the Green Print Explorer can be reached through here. It's ArcGIS based. And today we're just going to explore, but there are those other links include a link to the manual and written instructions. I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way. Oops. Great. So the data, like I said, it's divided up into groups. Boundaries, addresses, transportation, land status, land cover, all of these great socioeconomic characteristics. And again, we could have had you go into the different groups, but for the sake of the application process here, you can look at the census tracts. One thing I will tell you, that if you don't click the group box here, you're not going to see what you're clicking in the other levels. So here, once we click that, then you'll start to see this. If you know where your project is, you can zoom right in. If you don't, you can use an address or a place. I don't think that you can search by a parcel number. I'll have to double check with the green team, and I can let you all know that. So, but when you click on your, whoops. So you get this pop-up box, right? One of two, and it shows you different data. You're going to want to go to page 2, and there's your Clean Ohio criteria. So in Census Tract 1093.01, you have your 99%.99. There's 1/100th of a percent that you cannot get a bike or transit area. You have your percent minority, your percent impervious surface, and your percent of population below poverty. So, and then you just fill that in. Again, if it's more than one census tract, you can fill those in. I will share some other cool features that you may want to include when you make your map. Again, if you're looking for, again, we're looking at bike access and linking. You can look at the bike facilities. Give it a second. Yeah. And again, you might say, well, what's the difference between the dark green and the light green? And that hamburger menu will show you the off-street existing, on-street, undesignated existing, and the dash lines are off-street, future, on-street, future, and undesignated future. So that's one thing that you can look at. Land status. Let's see. So again, you can look at, is it a priority conservation area? Does it have, we have the Western Reserve Land Conservancy conservation easements, other conservation easements, ODNR protected land. And of course, it will not show you that until that gets plugged in. And again, anything you're looking for, if you're looking for the color codes, that's here. And then this can help increase, you can get details, where are we getting this information from. So this tool, like I said, that's a whole other workshop in itself. But again, you can see where the data is coming from. So get back to the green print. You know what? I think it's in, let's see here. It's transportation. Oh, maybe it's land use, not land status. Land cover. So again, your tree canopy land. So there is, well, why can I never find this when I want to find it? There's a way to look up the community facilities. Addresses and locations. Open space. It's not in that, oh, but anyway, water features. Turn that on. You can show your wetlands if you're preserving a wetland. Like I said, it's a very, very excellent tool. Vehicle accessibility, the socioeconomic characteristics. So again, the most important thing to remember is the boundaries and the census tract. to get the information. But again, there's ways that you can create. There are tools to either add data or draw your maps and print your maps. And just don't forget page 2 to find your Clean Ohio criteria. I'm going back to data one more time. Let's see. Yes. Leave them words. Oh, here it is. Community facilities. So I don't know why it's not working today, but normally that would, I wonder if it's because something else is turned on. Let's turn off everything else. So it's not working. However, it shows where all schools, libraries, hospitals, and public community facilities that you may have, like if you're working on a natural areas by a library and you want to show the educational opportunities, there's ways to do that when this is working. But like I said, I'll work with those. So again, this is another reason why we may have a office hours to help you navigate through this screen print and any other questions you may have about your application, WorksWise, OPWC, and anything else. So I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions, concerns? What I will say, if you are looking at purchasing fee simple, not even just purchasing, that keep in mind the program year that OPWC now has set, and Nick, the project agreements for Clean Ohio now go out in March of 2025. If you need to work with Nick for something sooner, is that on a case-by-case basis, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Just let me know and we can get it out earlier than that.
Okay, so keep that in mind when you're building your project schedule. And again, I think I would bring that to the NREC's attention in your narrative if you're going to be doing that, because again, we do review the schedules. And I think that I want to make sure that OPWC is good with that updated schedule before sending it out to the NREC for review. Anything else? Well, there's a lot of quiet participants, so I think they're either have wandered off already or we explained it so well. We're looking forward to receiving your applications. And thank you for coming today. And again, check back on our website for the recording of this video, the slides, and a Zoom link. And thank you, Isaac. A Zoom link for the office hours. Bye.